What's happening, everybody? So, now with our most enjoyable of 2017 done, what we're going to be moving on to is the top 10 anticipated movies of 2018. Now, once again, this is going to be one of those lists where it is our opinion. It is our what we feel we're going to most enjoy.
That's what we're excited for.
Exactly.
Not necessarily what you have to be excited for.
Yeah. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through the top 10, sort of just going back and forth. So, let's get started.
Number 10.
So number 10 is The Maze Runner Death Cure. I've seen the first two films, The Maze Runner and then The Scorch Trials. All of these were two good films. I enjoyed the first one a lot more than the second one, but still, I think it looks like a great end to the series. I'm hoping it's the end of the series. I'm hoping there's not a part two. I didn't like the part twos when they did that and the other stuff. But I feel as if it's one of those movies that could easily sort of go wrong, so we'll see if it makes it to the top 10 films of 2018.
Number 9.
Our number 9 is Deadpool 2. Deadpool is just such an enjoyable movie. It's so funny and it's so cool. It mimics the comic really well. I'm really interested to see them do other characters like Cable and Domino and stuff.
Anything Josh Brolin is in.
Yeah, Josh Brolin, which is everything right now. But yeah, it's a world that I'm interested in continuing through and kind of seeing if it is merging at all with the X-Men universe.
I really do think that Deadpool 2, if the right people are working on it, can be just as good as Deadpool 1.
It has a new director and stuff, but they really haven't released anything so far, but I think with Ryan Reynolds in general, he has kind of a good grip on it to kind of keep it in the right direction.
Yeah, I think with what the trailer they gave out, I think they're very aware of their demographic, their target audience.
Pretty much, yeah.
Number 8.
Ready Player One is our number 8. It looks like a really good movie. Like, it's really cool concept, and it seems really interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see how they use the different properties that they're somehow able to use. Like the Iron Giant and the DC characters and stuff like that.
For sure. Having Spielberg on it too. Spielberg isn't gold, but Spielberg has created a lot of fun movies in the past.
Yeah, there's a reason his name is associated with good things, you know.
I just hope that this film isn't blasted by any critics or fans because it might or might not be different than the book. Just that being said, it's a different form of media, so it's really, really hard to completely and utterly copy something from a book to a movie. Things are just written differently. Everything's different about it.
Everything's paced differently and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of good, book to film adaptations. I think that there are a lot of people that might be too snobby about certain stuff. So I would say give Ready Player One an actual fair shake.
It'll probably be one of those general ones where it's like there's a very divided audience as far as,
That sounds about right.
But, yeah.
Number 7.
So number 7 is going to be the Halloween sequel, reboot, sort of deal thing. I have no idea.
Other than that, it's directed by John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
Exactly. There's really nothing else to go on that, but just those two things alone give me real insight and hope. It's also being produced by Blumhouse. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about that too.
It has a lot going for it. Yeah.
It does. It has a lot of potential. I think that it could really work out well. I think Halloween is probably my favorite 80s slasher film.
It's fun, yeah.
Definitely, even though it came out in 78, but that's not important.
It's my favorite 70s slasher film.
I feel like the 80s slasher is so much more.
It's a whole genre
exactly.
Type deal. Yeah, like you said, with John Carpenter and Blumhouse and everything, I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see what they do with it and how they play with it.
And I definitely don't think that Jamie Lee Curtis getting as big as she has gotten would revisit a horror movie if it wasn't going to be quality.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Incredibles 2, which is over a decade after the first Incredibles. People have been wanting to go back to this world for a long time, and I think we haven't really gotten a trailer for it yet or anything. There's been kind of a teaser trailer for it, but there's definitely a lot of hype for it, and I think it's definitely going to be a fun movie.
I agree. I think everything about this movie is something to be excited about. It's Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sequel to a film that most people I feel very much enjoy
And wanted a sequel to.
a sequel to. And it has full freight, like the world that exists, I think has plenty of room to make that sequel.
Oh, definitely. There's a
still
lot
so
of
much-
room to do stuff with it.
Number 5.
So number 5 is going to be New Mutants or The New Mutants. I think that this is just a very interesting way to take the series and take the genre. Like just switch up the genre, make it more of a horror and less of a superhero movie. Just kudos on Fox for thinking of that because I'm thoroughly very interested in what this has to offer.
Definitely. Because they've done it. There's been 6 straight up X-Men movies and multiple other spin-off movies, and they all have that like superhero feel to them. So it's interesting going forward to not keep having that feel to do other things. And with like Deadpool, they're doing more of a comedy route. With this, they're doing more of a horror route, and I'm really interested to see a horror aspect in this kind of a world.
Indefinitely. It keeps you in a world of comic book movies where things, especially in, things like no hate on Marvel, but in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a lot of things, the styles are very similar when you're creating these films. So it's very nice to see something like New Mutants, which is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4.
So number 4 is Annihilation. Now, Annihilation is probably one of those films that you might not have heard too much about, but it stars Natalie Portman and basically going into this unknown sort of spectral world that they have no idea what's going on to it. She's I believe, some sort of scientist that can depict this type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly looks like something a little bit different. It looks horror, it looks thriller, it looks like it's going to have good characters.
It's like a scary Avatar.
Exactly.
This, like, world, yeah.
I also have a slight bias towards this one because it very much reminds me of the world that existed in an anime called Darker Than Black, the Gate area. Mad props if you understand that reference.
Number 3.
Our number 3 is Aquaman. I'm really excited for Aquaman. I like James Wan a lot. I liked Aquaman in Justice League a lot, and I'm a fan of Aquaman overall. We really haven't gotten too much with this. We know a few things about it, who's in it and stuff like that, but seeing how they've done the character so far, and like I said, knowing James Wan's background, I'm really interested to see. He said in interviews that he's going to put in some of that horror aspect to it, and I'm just really interested to see how it looks and feels. They haven't really done a lot of live-action underwater movies.
Yeah,
so that's kind of new territory.
Definitely. James Wan has got his hands full, but if there's anybody to do it, it's my favorite director, James Wan.
If you're listening, James, just know.
I love you. Anyway, it's another thing, too, with Aquaman is that I really enjoyed the difference of the character from his comic book self into what happened with Justice League. And I love Jason Momoa. I think he's a very, very talented... I just feel like it's hard to hate this guy.
Yeah.
And I really want to put him into a role that is in this world. And I can't wait to see sort of how they take Atlantis because, truth be told, Justice League, sort of how they did Atlantis, they really didn't show too much of it. So
yeah, they didn't go into it very much.
it makes you really want to see it. Makes you really want to see like what goes on with that next.
Definitely.
Number 2.
So the trailer for this one just came out actually very recently. We've got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now, this is a lot of people probably going to disagree with me here. Jurassic World was probably my favorite modern film. I love that movie, but I will very much understand you if you don't agree with me. I just had a very personal connection with the movie. I think it works out very well telling the story of the 3 male protagonists and whatnot and how they interact with one another. And Fallen Kingdom, it just seems like it's going a more horror route. I'm a little sad that the director for Jurassic World is only in a producing role and we're having a completely different director. However, I will say that Fallen Kingdom looks different than any other Jurassic film yet. So,
which is kind of what you want too. You want to kind of change it up. Like we've said about the other things, it's like you don't want to have the same feel over and over again.
Definitely.
Which I've never seen Jurassic World, but I watched a wonderful rundown of it.
Very wonderful.
So I feel like I've seen it.
Exactly.
Number 1.
Our number 1 is Avengers Infinity War.
Did you really think it was going to be anything else?
I mean, yeah. It's really like how all of the original Marvel movies led up to the Avengers. It feels like everything else has been leading up to this. I really didn't get that feeling with Avengers 2, but this one seems like it's first off, it's bringing together Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers, which gives that kind of new feel of like new people meeting each other that are established.
And like a lot of you, we've kind of been there from the beginning. Like I made anime Avengers trailers online, just in anticipation for this huge, awesome event that's coming. I really, really am excited to see, because this is the culmination. This is sort of supposed to be. Thanos was at the end of Avengers 1 and has been building. It's been building and building.
It seems like the first one of them too that feels like an event comic, like one of those event crossover comics, really. Because after all the movies we've had so far, everyone's really doing their own thing right now, and it feels like everyone's coming back together to kind of fight this threat.
For sure.
Probably each other.
And even in Civil War, I felt that like there was a lot of things in Civil War that sort of held that movie back from being what Infinity War could be. And honestly, that just has to do with the build-up. There wasn't a lot of build-up leading into Civil War. War, all of the conflict that happened in Civil War existed in Civil War.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there were movies really leading up to it beforehand.
No, it's like the things that happened in this movie are going to be leading Thanos to make his arrival here. And it just... If you are not excited for this movie, Marvel is either dead to you or you just don't like action movies. So guys, that is our list. That is our top 10 anticipated list of 2018. Let us know what you guys are thinking for 2018. Let us know.
What movies are you excited for?
Definitely. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We're still growing, and we want to grow even further with you guys and, hit a wider range of people so we can make that Observer army. All right, I'm MD from Observe Media.
I'm John from Observe Media.
And we'll see you guys next week.
No, we'll talk to them next week.
Every time.